Hi everyone, it's Nick. Welcome back to my channel. Okay, in this video today, we are going to be talking about how to decorate with black. Black is such an interesting color. It creates such a really special space. It is dramatic, it is sexy, it is elegant, it is classy. We love black. It is always so cool to be able to decorate your space. Even if you don't want to commit to a full black, dark, moody room, you could at least sort of play a little bit with some black accents. In this video, I'm going to give you some of my tips on how you can decorate with black in your own home. Okay, the first tip I have for you all is to use paint. Sometimes good old-fashioned paint is a really great way to play with a color like black. Now, sometimes people are really scared to use black on the walls, which I totally understand, but honestly, you shouldn't really be all that scared. I know people sort of are afraid that it's gonna draw in a space and make it feel really small, but sometimes a place, you want a space to feel really cozy, right? Like sometimes, yes, you want a space to feel bright and airy and open, but sometimes you want it to feel a little bit cozy, a little bit more cave-like, if you will, but in a good way, right? And black is really great at doing that because it draws the walls in a little bit and makes it feel really cozy and intimate, which can be a really great look if that's what you're going for in your space. Another reason I love black in a room is that black is really good at providing contrast to light colored furnishings. So again, if you take something like an oak sideboard, right? A really beautiful light oak sideboard, it'll look really nice against a white wall, absolutely. But if you really want it to pop, put it up against a black wall because that contrast is going to really make those light furnishings pop. And a lot of people really want Carrara marble, they want light oak, they want those really light furnishings, but they're sort of afraid to pair it with black, which is quite honestly a mistake because by pairing it with black, you're able to really make it pop, really make it stand out and create that drama and that contrast that's going to make your space look a lot more interesting. Black is also really great at providing a contrast, which can make for a really gorgeous focal point. So as you know, on my channel, I frequently recommend to find sort of a space in your room that you're able to use as a focal point to really draw in the eye to make that really interesting statement. So for example, what you can use as a focal point would be something like a fireplace in a living room. That is a focal point that you can really create in the room to make a place feel a lot more interesting because it's got that place for the eye to focus on, which is going to make your space look a lot more beautiful. But using black, I think, is a really great way at drawing that attention into that focal point so that it becomes that really statement piece that's going to make the room feel more interesting and special. Okay, tip number 2 for you all on how to decorate with black is to coordinate matte black metals in your space. So if you've seen my video on how to make your place feel more cohesive, you'll know that rhythm and repetition in your space is really important at being able to sort of guide your eye around a room. That's really important in design, and matte black, specifically looking at the metals, is a really great way of doing that. Yes, you can mix metals. Yes, I'm going to talk about it in a future video, but for the purposes of this video, let's talk about how you can coordinate all the different types of metals in your space in black to really make the space feel more cohesive and tie it all together. So examples of that would be, say in the bathroom, you've got, the toilet paper holder, maybe you've got a towel ring or a towel bar, you've got the faucets, you've got the lighting fixtures. In a living room, it could be your cabinet pulls, or in your kitchen, it could be the pulls, maybe like I've got back there on your kitchen cabinets. That can be really effective. So things like door hardware, things like the hinges on your doors, all these different ways of really tying all these different black elements together to make a place feel a lot more cohesive. Metals are really easy to do with black. They're super popular. They're very trendy right now. And it's a great way to add a touch of black, a little bit of a black accent without necessarily committing to an entire room full of black, which for some people can be a little bit overwhelming. And this is just a really great way at sort of tapping into that black in a really sexy way, but just done with like little small touches around the room. Those little accents will go a long way to make your place feel that little bit more special and that little touch of elegance that you get with black. Okay, my third tip for you all is to decorate with black using natural elements. Now, this is something, as you all know, I love natural materials. I love using natural materials in my own home. I really love it. But sometimes I think people think of black and they tend to gravitate more towards things like plastic, things like electronics, right? These are so often the touches of black that you see in people's homes. And I think that's like not really giving black the credit it deserves, right? There's actually a lot of natural elements that you can bring into your space in black, even if we mostly consider the black stuff in our home to be a lot of the sort of man-made plasticky stuff. So some examples would be like black stone, for example, like a black stone coffee table or a black stone dining table. I mean, that is just absolutely gorgeous and just so classic and so beautiful, and it's really gonna make a place feel very elegant and gorgeous. And again, people love the Carrara marble, people love the lighter stones, and I get that, they're beautiful too. But think about playing with some black stone or even some black quartz or something like that. It's just honestly so special and so dynamic and so beautiful. Consider adding that into your home as well. But don't forget, there are other black elements that you can bring in that are natural materials. Things like black leather, things like ceramics, things like wool, like you can bring in all your soft furnishings, like your bedding can be in black, which is amazing and beautiful, right? You can bring all your different towels or different pillows or throws or rugs, all those different soft furnishings. You can still bring them in a natural material, but just dyed in a black. It's honestly so, so gorgeous, so beautiful. And don't forget, I know oftentimes we think of wood being in, you know, lighter shades of brown or darker shades, but you've got wood stained in black. Oh, that's absolutely amazing. So beautiful, so elegant, still bringing in those natural materials, but just done in black, which is a little bit unexpected, which I personally love. Okay, my next tip for you all on how to decorate with black is to consider adding black in, but in through different textures that you wouldn't otherwise expect. So like I just said, so often black is used in like electronics, right? The TV remote, you know, this Sonos speaker that I got behind me, right? That type of stuff. That is so very commonly used in the color black, but so often that can read as just really flat and really boring. And I think that doesn't do black justice. I think you can bring black in a lot more of a textural way, right? So bringing in those soft furnishings, like I just said, but if you're gonna paint your wall black, rather than just paint it with a matte black paint, consider using like a slat wall detail, which is beautiful, or using different types of moldings. So black, like white, can sometimes feel a little flat and a little bit sort of one-dimensional. Right away, once you add on different moldings, you're starting to create a lot more shadows, even on black, and it just makes it look a lot more dynamic and a lot more interesting. Again, also don't forget all those soft furnishings as well. Adding those in black is gonna just layer in all those different textures. Remember that black is still a neutral. A lot of people don't think of neutrals and they don't think of black. They think of white and they think of like brown and tan and beige and things like that, which, you know, is fine. But don't forget that black also goes with everything as well. But adding black in sort of all these different sort of textural ways can make it feel a lot more interesting. Kind of like white can sometimes feel really boring if you just bring it in over and over and over again in sort of the same one note kind of way. Black can also feel quite similar. So you want to make sure that you're bringing it in all these sort of different textural ways to make it still feel very fresh and very interesting. Okay, and then my next tip for you all is to use black as an accent. So we talked about black sort of a little bit more as a main color, and I know some of you are going to be really nervous about using black as a main color, and I understand that, although I think that black is absolutely gorgeous and can absolutely be a main wall color when done correctly. I do think though that some of you are going to be a little bit nervous and you might be more interested in bringing it in an accent color, and that makes total sense because I do think sometimes that using black as an accent color is sort of the hottest way right now to use black, and here's why that is. I think sometimes when you use a lot of light furnishings, when you use a lot of white, things can sort of feel a little bit like they're just sort of floating in space, right? They're just sort of aimlessly floating around the place, and it doesn't really give a great way for the eye to sort of rest. What black does is it really grounds a space and really anchors it and makes everything kind of feel a little bit more anchored to where it's supposed to be rather than just sort of floating around your room. And black does a really great job of doing that. And that's why I think bringing in these different accent pieces can be a great way to anchor some of those lighter furnishings that you might already have in your home. So black is also a really great way that you can mix some old and new furniture together, different objects, different types of art, different accessories, and it's honestly one of the best ways to create an inviting interior that still feels really collected all at the same time. So by using accents, it doesn't make the whole space feel really, really heavy, but it does provide that contrast that so often is needed to make a space feel really dynamic and really interesting. So that's it for me for today, you guys. I hope you really enjoyed this video. I'm gonna link here to my video on how to make your place feel more cohesive, because I touched a lot about repetition and rhythm in that video that I think is really gonna help you, especially if you start introducing more black into your home. So I'll see you all in that video. Thanks, guys. See you all next time. Bye.